Welcome back, friends, and welcome in those who are new to the channel. If you guys don't know me, I am Firepower, and today we are playing more Better Minecraft. Now, last episode, we went ahead and went into our very first tricky trial and had a absolute blast with that. Now, down to the comments of last episode, you guys left a lot of amazing comments, and I greatly appreciate it. First off, you guys said that instead of having to go out and find more dogs, we can just go ahead and use some raw beef and breed them up. And I may have done that a few times because we may now have 10 dogs. Now, that was partially because you guys gave us 10 names and I could not pick which names to pick from. So we are just going to do every single name suggestion that you guys picked from. Now, you guys also went ahead and left a comment letting me know that when we're in combat, instead of using splash potions of regeneration to heal them, we can just feed them raw meat and that will heal them up, and it'll heal them up rather quickly as well, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you for that tip. We did get confirmation on what I had annotated in the last video when I was editing, is that when the dogs have armor, they take no damage. They are invincible, but their armor will break over time, and once it does break, then they start taking damage. So you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that you either have replacement armor, or you can take scoots and right click the scoots on the armor and it'll go ahead and repair them. And then something that I forgot last episode, I had planned on doing it, but we were planning on bringing some dog food with us because it'll give the dogs a nice buff. It'll give them speed, strength, and resistance, which is absolutely amazing. And it's rather easy to craft. All you need is some rotten flesh, bone meal, some random meat, and then some rice. And that'll go ahead and get you the dog food. Easy. All right, so let's go ahead and get to naming these dogs real quick, and then we can get started on making the iron farm and everything for this episode. We had 10 name suggestions. We're going with all of them, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to go ahead and take our dogs, spread them out around our base, but we're going to start with the 4 that are here inside our doghouse. So first up, Rain went ahead and suggested Mishka with a black collar. Fish suggested Gretchen with a purple collar. Cass wanted Indigo with cyan, and then Spooky wanted to name one Bruno, and we're going to go with a white collar as it's kind of like a ghost. We are also going to go ahead and put one over by the barn. I mean, we're going to go ahead and name this one Rooster, which is going to have a red collar to resemble the red comb of a rooster. That was suggested by Samuel. We're going to go ahead and name one Crypto from Crypto the Super Dog, which is a cartoon of Superman's dog. That was suggested by Sebastian. Then Wombat went ahead and suggested 2 different doggos. We're going to name them Pepper and Mint, and these 2 are going to go inside our house. We have a suggestion from Anime Gods naming one Goku with an orange collar. And then lastly, Novak suggested that we name one Astra after their dog with a blue collar, and they're going to be sitting nicely by the fireplace upstairs our house. So we also got a comment from one of the developers of the Charm mod, and they went ahead and left us some super amazing tips for our horse and for our dogs. And that is the fact that you can actually take horse armor and you can enchant it. And with what you can enchant, the 2 things that we're going to go with, at least for right now, because thankfully it doesn't have durability, it's not going to break, but we're going to start off by putting feather falling on it, and this will go ahead and make sure that when we jump off a cliff for a little bit more than like 5 blocks and the horse takes damage, well, it's not going to take damage anymore. So that'll be fantastic. And then lastly, we're going to put Frostwalker. And when we have Frostwalker, it means we can now run over water. So how many times have we already struggled to explore and we hit a river and, we just can't really do much in the river. And that's not what I meant to do. I keep doing that. All right, let's get on it, open the inventory, and there we go. And now look at that. We got diamond armor. We upgraded it from the iron that we previously had. That's fantastic. And then if we go ahead and come down here, we can kind of demonstrate this by getting close to the water. And there we go. So now we can just run directly on the water and not have to worry about, you know, losing our horse in the water. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Love it. Thank you again for that comment. Major help. Now, they also went ahead and stated that there is a enchanted book from the Charmed mod called Collection, and it is absolutely amazing. When you put it on a tool, it'll automatically pick up all of the drops that happen when you use your tool. So with that, if we go to chop down a tree, we'll just get all of the logs. When we're mining, we'll just instantly pick up everything we mine, and we don't have to worry about picking it up ourselves. So that's super helpful. I am definitely going to want that, but we are trying to get it from villagers, and we'll definitely get it over time. Now, this episode, what is the goal? Well, right over here in this space, just on the other side of our nether portal, we are going to be putting a iron farm. We are going to be covering it up with a blacksmith, and then the blacksmith is going to house our armorsmiths, our weaponsmiths, and our toolsmiths. So lots and lots of villagers inside the build, as well as the farm underneath to go ahead and get us all of the iron that we need, which is going to be super helpful for upgrading our beacon all the way. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on iron farm, so that way when we are planning out the rest of the build and doing everything the rest of this episode, we have lots and lots of iron producing for us. Now, I have went ahead and already dug out a hole here that will be the location for where the villagers are going to sit. I went ahead and pre-dug this out as it's very specific to the build that I have around it. Now, let's go ahead, jump on down here and get started on making the farm, and I'll kind of go over each of the mechanics as we build. So we do need to have 3 beds down here, as the villagers are going to need to sleep once every roughly 20 minutes in order for them to continue spawning the iron golems. Now, the spawn radius when they do spawn an iron golem is it's going to be 8 horizontal and then 6 vertical. So you need to make sure that from wherever you're building the farm, you have no spawnable area. That means no caves, no normal flat ground, anything that an iron golem can spawn that is not where you want them. Now, in order for the villager to spawn the iron golem, they are going to have to get frightened by a zombie. Now, we have the 3 villagers here on top of the beds, but right on the other side right here is where we're going to go ahead and trap a zombie, and then the zombie is just going to constantly stare at them and freak them out all the time. And that's kind of the idea. Now, let's go ahead and pillar up. As I mentioned, the iron golems can spawn 6 blocks in vertical space. So because they're going to be sitting on that bed, let's go ahead and go up 6 blocks and put the ground there, and that'll be 5.5 blocks up from where they are. So perfect. So right here should be 6 blocks up, and let's go ahead and build a ground area here. Now I am going to go ahead and get the villagers in here in a moment, so I don't want to completely block this off. I'm thinking just leaving a little hole, and then we can drop them down as we get closer. But let's go ahead and dig out the area in which we want the iron golems to spawn. So we are just under the ground level, which means that they shouldn't spawn, on the grass elsewhere, which is exactly what I wanted and why I kind of went down. It was like 8 or 9 blocks. Now, for the spawning area, I'm thinking that we're going to go ahead and dig this out, I think 5 blocks in each direction from the center hole. And that'll go ahead and give them a nice area to spawn in. The area in which you pick is completely up to you. You can go 4, 5, you can go 2. You can even go up to the full 8 blocks in which they can spawn and give them lots of area to spawn in. So, I mean, that's completely up to you. I'm going with the 5 because I'm trying to contain it underneath my build. And I feel as if once we put walls and then the inside part is actually going to be 4, the water flow just works really well. So that's kind of why I picked that number. But let's go ahead, finish digging this out, and then we need to go ahead and get the villagers in. All right, with the area dug out, before I do too much more to build this, I want to go ahead and get the villagers and the zombie in here. Now, luckily we already have our villager breeder and it has been going, but I just went over and checked, and sadly we only have 2 villagers and we need 3. So I did go ahead, turn on the breeder, so we should hopefully, there we go, we have a baby. Perfect. Okay, that's exactly what I was looking for, was to get a baby. So let's go ahead, get these 2 villagers over there, and we already have a zombie because these stools over here keep getting random zombies. We had the wandering trader last episode. We're getting all these cool things, and the zombie is exactly what we need to go ahead and take him over and lock him up into the little chamber over there. Now, we are going to have to wait till nighttime, which is just about to happen, but let's go ahead and work on getting the villagers over there first. Now, these 2, I'm going to have to make tracks and take it over there. I'm going to do that off camera, but I was told in the comments of last episode that you can actually come over here, take a baby, and pick up a baby. And then you just need to carry the baby. Look how freaking awesome that is. Here, let's go ahead and do that. Close that up. And now we just need to carry the baby over here, which is so much easier than having to transport an entire villager via rail or whatever. So thank you very much for that comment. I greatly appreciate that. So let's come in here. Let's drop him down in here. We're going to need to get down here ourselves because that's going to be too much of a drop. And then so the baby doesn't get trapped, let's go ahead and block this off so that we can drop the zombie down and not have to worry about the little baby villager getting stuck over there, getting converted or dying or anything like that. So perfect. All right, now that nighttime is upon us, let's go ahead and get this zombie. We can just go ahead and break the stool and it should follow us. So I have went ahead and already set up a couple trapdoors to let it fall down in. So we just need to be very, very patient as he takes his time, slowly coming towards us. I swear, when you're actually wanting the zombie to follow you, they just here to take their time. Yet when they're bothering you as you're doing other things, it seems like they just run full speed ahead. All right, so let's go ahead and get down here. And once it jumps down, we should just be able to jump across where it thinks it can walk. And yep, there we go. Falls down and all the way down. Perfect. All right. So that should do that. Let's go ahead and block him off, break our trapdoors, and clean this up. And then we just need to go ahead and go get our last 2 villagers, which I'll go ahead and do that off camera here. And with the power of editing, the villagers are now down here. Now, we do still have that log blocking off because of the fact that we have the baby, and we don't want the baby to die or get converted or anything of that nature. So once he grows up, we'll go ahead, get down there, break it, and allow them to start spawning golems. But for now, let's go ahead and get started on the rest of the kill chamber and how this is planning on working. Now, let's go ahead and break a few blocks over here. And what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and get a chest and some hoppers. And I am going to go ahead and put a chest right here on this spot. And that's where all of the drops are going to collect to. And then we just need to go ahead and put a couple hoppers directly from the middle. Now we're going to go ahead and put water buckets around the edges, and that's going to push them all forward. And the iron golem is going to be killed here in the middle. Now let's go ahead and hop on up, put down a single block there with a block on top so that we can easily put the lava in, and take the iron trapdoors and put them around the edges. So the iron trapdoors is here to make sure that the lava doesn't escape, just as we put it here in the middle, and now it can't go. Perfect. And then we can go ahead and break the block on the top as well. And that is it. So now we need to go ahead, we need to build up the walls and put in the water So let's go ahead for right now. I thought I had, I do have some spruce. So let's go ahead and build up some walls real quick. I think I am going to go ahead and do something just like this, just to give it a little bit of a decoration. Although it is going to be very, very minimal that we do actually see it. But I think if we go ahead and put some spruce around the outside, and then we're just going to fill in the middle with the oak like this. Perfect. And I think that looks pretty decent. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but we also don't need anything fancy either. So we're going to go ahead and put a couple cobblestones there, and I'm going to need to get an upside down stair to put it on that one, as we're going to be accessing the chest from right here. So let's see, let me open up my storage. Do we have a cobblestone stair? We do. And if we put an upside down stair, it'll go ahead and allow us to open the chest, but water won't be able to flow out. So let's go ahead and build up the rest of this, and we'll be back. Perfect. With the walls all built up, what we're going to do now is go ahead and put water in each of the 4 corners. And this should go ahead and allow all of the iron golems that are going to spawn up here to be pushed into the lava, and they should go ahead and die, drop their iron, and everything should be picked up and sent to the chest. So this is basically the iron farm. Now, we don't really have to worry about things at this level because this is 8 blocks above. So they should not be able to spawn at this area here. They technically shouldn't even be able to spawn in these corners, although we do need to go ahead and fill them up. There we go. Perfect. Now, as soon as that baby grows, we're going to go ahead, go down there and make sure that we can turn on the farm and we can test this out. But while that's happening real quick, while we're waiting, I'm going to come over here, and between episodes, they released version 9 and version 10 of Better Minecraft for Fabric. And one of the mods that they added was one that I have been looking forward to forever, and that is the waystone mod. So let's go ahead and craft up our very first waystone. We need to make one of these abyss watchers, and then from here we can make a waystone just like that. And let's go ahead and put this down. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with waystones, basically what it does is it'll allow you to go ahead and teleport in between different locations. Now, how do I edit this? Perfect. So we're going to call this one home and save this. Now let's go ahead and make ourselves one more just so we have another one. We need another abyss watcher, and with this I can go ahead and demonstrate how this works. So if we have one waystone over here, and say for instance we went to the stronghold or went to the end, we can put down another one and have this named the end or whatever location we're at, and all we need to do is teleport in between it, and it'll go ahead and teleport us. Now, if you notice, it'll go ahead and tell us what the cost is and how many levels it's going to go ahead and cost to teleport between it. So you can see we go from 14 to 13 to 12, etc. So that's perfect. Now, I'm going to go ahead and keep this on us and put it into our storage, just in case we're out exploring, we find something interesting, we can go ahead and put it down and then go back anytime we want. Now, they also went ahead and added a couple other mods for structures. They added some new biome mods and lots of cool things, but we're going to go ahead and just hold off on doing some exploration as we are really trying to get this iron farm going right now. Now, next episode, we are going to go back and we are going to do some exploration. I do want to go ahead and go to the end. I want to get the elytra. A couple of the structures that I really want to go to, you know, the ones that I showed at the very start of the series in our little capture video to kind of show you guys what structures are in the mod pack. They are extremely far away. So I want to get an elytra and do some exploration via that. And I think that'll be super helpful. So that's the plan. So I think next episode, we're going to be going on an adventure, going to the end, killing the dragon and getting ourselves an elytra. All right, now this guy should, I think, will it tell us? Yes, so only 2 more minutes. So let's go ahead, wait here, and I'll get this started once it's done. All right, and now it is all grown up. Let's go ahead and break this, and hopefully, once they start to see the zombie, oh, the zombie is gone. We didn't name the zombie. Oh no. Oh my god. That is such a noob mistake. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, you know. All right. Looks like it's nighttime, so we should be able to get a new zombie pretty easily here. Let's go ahead, get out and see if we can go find one. But this time we got to make sure we name tag it. Thankfully, between episodes, I bought a bunch of name tags, so we do have some extra ones to go ahead and use. Let's go ahead and get it out, name it Zombie Bait. You know, actually, he's not bait. Let's name it Zombie Terror, since he's going to be terrorizing the villagers. I think that makes a little bit more sense. Now, let's go ahead and let's get up here. Let's go ahead and go get ourselves a zombie. And looks like there's one right here. Sweet. So let's go ahead and get close and have him follow us all the way back. And this time, let's make sure we name tag him once we get him in there. We don't need to be losing this one too. All right, let's not make the same mistake again. Now, if this guy can go any faster, that'd be great. All right, let's go ahead and get him in here. Come on, sir, go ahead and follow us. Block off the corner, so hopefully he'll just... Yeah, look at that. Nice. All right, name tagged. Sweet. All right, and with all luck... Oh, it's already working. Sweet. I was gonna say with all luck, it should go ahead and start spawning golems, and it's already doing it. Fantastic. Good, fill this in, and look at it work. We got ourselves our first iron golem, which means that we should now have some iron down here in the chest, and we do. Ah, nice. It's working. It's working. We did it right. Now we should be able to get one of these guys every 30 seconds, and that'll allow us to start farming up tons and tons of iron as we go ahead and continue with our blacksmith build here. So, yep, there we go. There's a second one, and sweet. All right, so the idea is that we are going to go ahead and have our pathway come over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a large blacksmith. Now, the blacksmith is going to have a building off to the side, but just next to it is going to be a large overhanged working area where there is going to be a large smeltery. There's going to be lots of anvils, lots of smithing tables, and everything of that nature that you would imagine a blacksmith would have. Now, we are going to go ahead and have 2 floors as well as a back section as well. And the villagers are going to be partially in the back, partially upstairs. They're going to be spread apart, but also from the inside of our blacksmith, we are going to be able to come over and be able to go down into our iron farm down here, which is why we have glass, so that we can go ahead and get all the iron that we have. So that's the general idea. That's the plan. So let's go ahead, jump into a super fast build mode and get it built. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that time lapse there as we went ahead and built this blacksmith. I absolutely love the way that this turned out. Now let's gonna come up here and we can take a look at it real quick. We have our nice little forge area with a nice large forge where they can come over here, melt all the alloys down, and smelt whatever they need to do. We have lots of different workstations, from the smithing table to the grindstone to multiple anvils, which should allow them to complete any task that they have. Now, as we head inside, we have a nice large room here, which we will decorate in a minute, and we can come on down to have our iron farm, which is producing quite well, up to 6 stacks already. Now, behind the forge, we have one room over here, and this is where one of our 3 villager types are going to reside. Currently, we do have some blast furnaces down, but we're going to be changing these to the smithing tables because a toolsmith is more accurate for what this room is going to be. Now let's go ahead, head upstairs, and up here we have our other 2 workstations. So while we have the toolsmiths down below, up here we are going to have the armorsmiths and also the weaponsmiths. And I just love the way that this room turned out. We have plenty of room for all of our villagers. We have 5 or 6 different bays for each of the different villager types, and that should be plenty for everything we need. Now let's come down here, and I want to get started decorating both this room and the room over here, and I think we're going to start over here in the toolsmith area. So what I want to do is, for toolsmiths, there are 3 main tools in the game of Minecraft, which is going to be your pickaxe, your shovel, and your axe. Now, technically there are more. You have your hoe and shears and toe, you know, there's lots of different tools. But let's go ahead, and the idea is that I want to create a section of this wall that is going to be for each one of those 3 different types. So we are separating this off into 3 different sections, and the idea is that right in the middle of each one, we are going to go ahead and put down one of these pedestals, and the pedestal is going to go ahead and hold that item type. So for instance, the pickaxe, the shovel, and then the axe in that order, and that's going to what it's going to hold. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take my axe back. I don't want to put that there. We'll get some other ones in there at a later point in time. But let's go ahead and get the rest of this built here. Looks like I'm missing some spruce stairs. You know, I try to prepare everything that I'm gonna need, but that never works out. I don't know if you guys have the same problem. You're like, I'm gonna build something, and then you never get everything you need. Never. But let's go ahead. Let's get some shelves up top here. And on top, we're going to go ahead and put 3 individual chests. And, you know, I could actually make this a functional where every time I get, you know, a pickaxe or an axe or something of that nature, I can come over here and store them in these chests over here. Now on each side, we're going to go ahead and put a few bookcases to kind of fill in the blank spaces here. You know, our villagers need something to read in the meantime while we're not around trading with them. They need to do something. So perfect. Now we need to go ahead and go get ourselves some tools to put in here. And then there is also one other thing I wanted to grab. So let me do that, and then we'll be right back to finish this room up. All right, with the tools in hand, let's go ahead and put the pickaxe, the shovel, and then the axe down on these pedestals. And I think this is really making this room look really nice. Now, the last time I wanted to put down was some lanterns on this wall. I'm going to put them right here between the chests. And I'm using a little bit different lanterns. So on the opposite side and on the ceiling in the main room, we're using the normal vanilla lanterns. But I'm thinking over here, we're going to use some of these. They're just the chipped version of different lanterns. And I feel as if it just gives it a nice little contrast from the normal lanterns. Now, back into the main room, we're going to go ahead and create some more of these dark oak pillars. And the idea is that the right side of the room is going to match the left side as far as its shape. So let's go ahead and before we work on the right side, let's figure out what the left side is going to look like. I'm thinking that on each side of the doorway, we're going to have one of these dark oak pillars. And we have a 3 wide there, and then we're gonna have another 3 wide here on this doorway, but this is gonna leave 5 in the middle. So let's go ahead and just copy this pattern over, and perfect. All right, so now we just need to go ahead and build these all the way up. And the idea for this room is that while the side room is gonna be for the toolsmith, this is gonna be for the armorsmith. Now, there is a lot more armor choices. We have the standard leather, then we go up to chainmail, iron, gold, diamond, and then into the netherite. And in this pack, we even have more variants of netherite available to us. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the netherite or anything in this room. I think this room here is mainly just going to be for the more vanilla style armor. Now, I think this is looking pretty good, and I'm thinking what we need to do now is get all the different armor stands in. So in each one of these sections, we're going to put down a barrel and a armor stand on top, and we can easily do that in the middle of these ones that are 3 wide, but the one that is 5, we're going to have to end up putting 2, I believe. So we can go ahead and space it out with 1 block in between, just like this. And with the 5 different armor stands in there, that should go ahead and cover us from having the leather to the chainmail, the iron, gold, and then lastly, diamond here in the middle. Now, for the netherite, as I mentioned, we do have lots of different variants of netherite, and eventually I'm thinking that we're going to go ahead and come outside here and put the netherite on the exterior where we have the gold and the diamond right now. But we'll go ahead and temporarily move these on the inside, and once we can get a good source of netherite, then we can come in here and make the netherite iron, the netherite gold, and even the netherite diamond to give us some nice textures of that netherite armor. And I think that'll look really nice. Now, as we head back inside, we need to add a little bit more into this section. So we're going to go ahead and put some anvils down on each one of these sections over here to kind of fill in some of the space next to each of the armor stands, as well as over here by the iron farm. Now, lastly, we need to go ahead and put some more of these lanterns down. So it's the exact same lanterns we have in the other room. We just need to figure out what pillars to put them on. And I think, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. It's much brighter. It's looking much nicer. And next we just need to fill in these corners with some bookshelves. And I think that'll pretty much wrap up the design of the interior here for the first floor. So let's just go ahead. Let me go and get all of the different armors and we'll go ahead and get them all put on. All right, so all the armors are now done and they are now sitting on the armor stands. So let's go ahead, head upstairs and work on the decoration up here. Now, there's not much room up here to do any decorations, but we have a lot of these little shelves in between villagers, and I want to go ahead and put down some decorations on these. And I was looking around as like all the different decoration blocks, and I couldn't really find too many that I liked. But, you know, we've been using these pots all around our base in other locations. And I was like, you know what, let's just go ahead, put some more pots down and continue with that decoration. So we have the white, or rather the yellow, the blue, and then the plain terracotta pots. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some flower pots in between here and fill them up with some azures as well. And I feel as if this will just go ahead and kind of give it the additional look and feel that, you know, there's actually someone that lives here, you know, there's flowers, and it gives it a little bit more life. Now let's go ahead, head down, and we're going to go back to the back room over here, and we're going to do the same thing on these shelves where we're going to put down the yellow, the blue, the plain terracotta, and then in reverse order as well. And then add in the extra flower pots there to just kind of wrap it up and just finish the look. Now, I think the only thing left we have are a couple small things, like we don't have a front door. So, I mean, a door is kind of necessary, especially if we plan on getting villagers in here, just because of the fact that we need to make sure that the zombies don't get in here. Now, let's just figure out the right way to put down the door, which I always have trouble with. And yeah, there we go. That looks much better. And I think also might need a door on the blacksmith side. Let's check it out. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and put a door down here as well. And that should go ahead and make sure that all of our villagers are eventually safe once we get them in there. Perfect. That's looking pretty good. I absolutely love the way that turned out. Beautiful. Now, as you guys may have noticed from the title of the video, we are going to be having a world download available. It's something that I do every 10 episodes of all of our series, and it allows you guys to get into the world and check it out yourself instead of just watching it from the video standpoint. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead, join our Discord, which is down below. And by the time that this video goes live, the download should be posted in the Better Minecraft channel for you guys to go ahead and download right now. Now, because of the fact that we are doing the world download, there's a couple things that I want to work on to kind of polish the area up and just add little bits of extra detail to improve various things. Now, the very first thing that I am not a huge fan of is our crop field over here, at least when it's nighttime. It is way too dark and I am just not a huge fan of it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some lanterns out and put down some lanterns along the path to kind of light the pathway up. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and kind of alternate here, put one on one side and then go back to the other. And just going down the pathway, alternating where we have all these lamps stored. And I think this is going to give it a nice feel that should probably light it up pretty well, which, yeah, I think I like that. That looks pretty good. Perfect. Now, we have the path lit up, but at the same time, when we turn back and we look at it, the crop fields themselves are pretty dim. So what I think I'm going to do is underneath each one of these target dummies, our scarecrows, I'm going to go ahead and put a light source underneath the leaf down there so that the light will illuminate up through the leaf and through the scarecrow and light up the crop itself. Now, if we can go ahead and remove the scarecrow, which obviously I don't know how to do. I always forget how to do this. Obviously punching doesn't work. That's how we actually test our damage. And I think, yes, okay, so we just got to hit it with an empty hand and we can get that back. So let's go ahead, break this out and put a light source down there. And this is kind of exactly what I have in mind. So let's just like that. Let's put the target dummy back. If I can click it right, there we go. All right, and I think that's starting to look a little bit better. It's really hard to tell because the sunlight is starting to come up right now, but let me go ahead and work on the rest of all of these off camera for a minute. And I'm going to bring you guys back once we get them all done. And hopefully we'll be able to see it when it comes nighttime. All right, I think this is looking way better now. We can actually see all of our crop fields and maybe the extra light will actually help the crops grow more. I'm not too sure on that, but I mean, during nighttime, there's no actual light. So who knows, maybe. All right, so our other task that we wanted to do, basically we have light sources now in our crop fields, but we need some more light sources throughout our village here. So I'm thinking we should go ahead and add some light posts. And what I'm thinking for it is we'll have a little bit of a stone foundation. And if we can go ahead and pillar up, we'll go ahead and switch to some spruce posts going up a little bit further, with another wall on top, and then we're going to hang the lantern right off of it, which I freaking love the way that the lanterns can hang off blocks. But that's kind of the idea. Nothing extravagant, nothing, you know, too fancy, but something that kind of gives it a nice little bit amount of detail and will provide extra light for our area. So I think, you know, this in front of our build here is a perfect example where it was just a little bit too dark. Adding these light sources will really go ahead and give it the extra light that it needs, which I think is great. Now, let's go ahead, move down. We're going to add a few more of these throughout the rest of our village here. And I'm curious. Oh, we can. I wasn't too sure if we would be able to put the block on top just like that. So we actually don't need to scaffold up, which this feature is provided by the Reach Around mod, which is both a fantastic name and a terrible name as well. It basically allows you to reach around the side of the block and place blocks where you can't normally put them. is something that Bedrock has had for years now, and we just haven't really had the ability to do it in Java, but thanks to mods, we can do it. Now, I feel as if there should be another light source in this area, but I don't know. I'm just going to move on, and we'll come back and look at it in a minute. But let's go ahead, keep doing a couple more of these light posts. Over here by our barn is a little dark as well, and you can basically see all we need to do is look just above the fence post, and we can go ahead and put another block down, which is fantastic. I love this mod. It's great. All right, our dog area is a little dark as well. We can go ahead and do another one here, and I think maybe one more. Yeah, this area right over here is a little dark. Let's go ahead, put one more down. Let's see. Yeah, right here looks good. Go ahead and go up. And done. Now let's go back over in front of the villager house, because I'm pretty sure it is a little dark over there, but I don't know if I want to have a light post directly there. You know what, maybe we'll go ahead and do what we have over on the main house staircase, where we'll have extra walls and put the light directly on top of the wall. So let's go ahead, get some tough walls out and put those down. Which, why are those invisible? Sweet, we have floating lights. Fantastic. That's so weird. The blocks literally just on top of it are showing perfectly fine. Like, why is this bottom one not working? I am so confused by some of these texture issues that we have. I just don't get it. Like, I don't know. So weird. Anyways, all right, so the next task that we wanted to get up to, the next little improvement, is now that we have lights along our path, I think what we could go ahead and do now is add some seating. And the handcrafted mod adds benches, which are absolutely fantastic. If I can actually turn on JEI, there we go. And we can do a search for bench, and there are all the different benches. And what I'm thinking is we're going to go ahead and get some of the spruce fences, as we're pretty much doing everything out of spruce. It just kind of makes sense. Let's go ahead, craft a bunch of these up and get these placed down. Now, I'm thinking we'll go ahead and put like 3 of them wide. That looks like a normal size bench to me. And you can just come up, sit down, and, you know, enjoy, relax, everything you can do on a bench. Now, let's go ahead, put down a few more of these elsewhere. And I think even in this area here by our portal would be a great little area. It's kind of like a hub around our base. And, you know, I think that looks pretty good. I like it. I like the use of these benches. Now, let's go ahead and continue this all the way around. But, I'm wondering. So, like, the spruce is nice, right? But it does match with the stripped logs right next to it. So I wonder, what would dark oak look like? Do we have any dark oak benches? No. I'm gonna craft some up and take a look at this. This is the benefit of Tom Simple Storage. It's so easy to craft things. All right, let's go ahead and put a few of these down and check this out. What do we like better? Yeah. Yep. I think I like the dark oak. You guys let me know down in the comments. Do you guys like the dark oak or the spruce? I feel as if the spruce just matches too much, and it's, yeah. I don't know. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to tear all these up. You guys let me know if I made a terrible decision by tearing all these up and switching it for the dark oak, but I think I'm leaning towards it. It gives a nice little contrast, and it, you know, allows you to actually see everything else that is going on in this area. So let's go ahead, put all of these down, and we're going to need a few more to finish the area right here. But then also we need to go down our path. Oh, trying to go too quick here. We're also going to go ahead and go down our path and add them down the path where we had our other fences, or our other benches. Perfect. Now I think we have one more down here, but I think I want to add a couple more over by our barn, maybe over where the dogs are as well. I think There's just some nice little area that we can go ahead and put some things down. I think, yeah, right here. Yeah, I think that looks good. And then do we have room for one more over here? You know, sure. Sure, perfect. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Now, I think the only place here at our base that we don't have a bench or a new street light is over in front of our new blacksmith. So let's go ahead, head over there and see if we can find a place for one. And I mean, maybe not. I'm not sure. So let's head over, take a look. I mean, we could put one right in the middle here, right here. You know, let's give it a try. If we like it, we like it. I'm not too sure just with what is planned for our next build, but I think we're going to go ahead and leave it there for now. Now, one thing I didn't show you guys is over on the side of the blacksmith, we actually have some stockpiles of all the different resources. So whenever the blacksmith is going and they're forging new tools or new armors, if they need to go ahead and go get some iron or go get some copper or whatever resource they need, they can just head over to the side and get it from that stockpile, which I thought was a nice little additional touch, add some extra details, and I think it was a good idea. Now, I think that is going to go ahead and call it for this episode. I think we've went ahead and wrapped everything up. And as a reminder, as I mentioned earlier, since we are on episode 10, we are going to be having that world download available. So if you guys are interested in getting that world download, definitely go ahead, join our Discord, and you can download it from there. Now, something you guys mentioned, I think it was episode 10 of our last series when we had our very first world download, is that it would be really cool if in the world we had some hidden signs or messages for you guys to find. And I did just that. So here's a little example, just a little sign that says, "Congrats, you found a hidden message." And between our entire base here, I have hidden 16 of those signs that are all relatively in plain sight. You shouldn't have to break any block. You shouldn't have to, go into spectator or anything of that nature. So if you guys are up for a little bit of a scavenger hunt, a little bit of a challenge to see if you can find all 16, definitely go ahead, join Discord, download the world, and then let me know afterwards if you found them all. But I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here if I can actually walk on this path backwards. It was an absolute blast. So thank you all for coming out, hanging out, and watching the episode today. You guys are absolutely amazing. And I love the amount of support that you guys are giving me. It's absolutely fantastic. If you guys haven't already, I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys could hit that subscribe button and get notified when we post our next video. Next one coming up is actually going to be doing a little bit of adventuring, going to a stronghold and adventuring throughout the end, which has the better end mod, and there are so many beautiful biomes in the end. It is absolutely gorgeous. So if you guys like the episode, make sure you go down and hit that like button, as well as leaving a comment letting me know your thoughts. Did you like how the blacksmith turned out? Do you like all the small changes? And if you guys did download the world, let me know how you guys did trying to find all of those hidden messages. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead, leave you guys here. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.